Rubbing In with Becca Tilley and Tanya Rad, an iHeartRadio and two-time People's Choice Award-winning podcast.
I wrote with this girl named Rachel Womack, and I showed her singing it because I want to wait until he hears me singing it for like the first time.
Oh. So does he know the lyrics yet?
Oh yeah, he sings them all around the house every day. It's hilarious.
Love when a song's, it's such an ego boost when a song is written about you.
He didn't even know I was upstairs the other day, and he was like, I'm gonna be good for somebody.
So we did that. We reconnected, and then she's been playing tennis with Red Star, and I love tennis, but I don't have anyone to play with because 95P does not play tennis.
I would pay money to see that, actually.
No, because if we're like double teams, I would get so frustrated.
Oh, okay.
So unless y'all were on a team against me.
We've done that with cornhole, and that was it was really a blowout.
We thrived in cornholes.
Yeah.
So Tanya, we made plans to go play tennis, and I have not had that happen to me recently, but I've had it happen to me before, where it wasn't that I started out naked, but I got so hot in the midst of like nausea that I took all my clothes off and just laid down. This was induced from alcohol, though.
Oh my gosh.
And 95P somehow came in and was like, what the heck? I was like, I did not realize. I mean, I was probably just slurring my words. I was like, I didn't know I drank this much. And like, you know how I am about showering before bed.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I have been so hammered, and I still get home and like shower, wash my face, do my skin routine, brush my teeth. I don't remember anything, but I remember being on the floor being like, don't come in.
Right, like curled over. Like
okay.
I was like curled over. I was like, this is not like, please don't. No way I was holding him in.
Okay, I never fart in front of 95P, but one night I took an edible. But I took, okay, so I like the max I'll take is 5 milligrams. And at worst, I'm just like giggly, you know. But I took a different one that I have never taken before, and I took probably like 7, I guess. It was like half of something. And I have never felt so just like, I couldn't even like lift my arms off the couch.
Scary.
And I got really nauseous, and I was like, I think I'm going to fart, but I can't like stop it. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just going to happen. And it happened, and 95P was like, are you kidding? What was that? And I was just like laughing, and I was like, don't worry about it. It wasn't what you think it was. But that was, unfortunately, I was reminded the next morning, and I was like, that did not happen. I knew it happened, but I was trying to deny it.
It's just the worst. I really am just like traumatized from that experience.
It sucks. Okay, but here's the thing. When I started my relationship, we were long distance, and we started pretty much on FaceTime and phone calls. Like, we hung out a few times before, but the beginning of the relationship was mostly over FaceTime, and it helped us. There were a lot of fights and like tiffs and arguments because we wanted to be together and we couldn't, but we learned so much about each other. So I know it's easier said than done, but like I would take advantage of having to do a lot virtually, and then you know, when you meet up, you quickly know if the chemistry that was happening virtually is there in person too. It's fine. I feel like as long as I have the beach option, able to go outside and go on walks. Hayley's friend had a pool that she let us use this weekend, and it was...
I saw that. That's a game changer.
All I've wanted was a pool.
I need a pool. Which
I know sounds dumb because we have the beach and we're so lucky, but all I wanted was to be in like the backyard, jump into a cold pool, lay out in a floaty. I think that's a good topic though, because what is a good response for someone who says I love you and you're not ready? Because when 95P said it to me, I said it back, but then I took it back because I was like, wait, did I just say that out of like feeling the need to reciprocate for the sake of awkwardness, or did I really feel that way? I said it like a week or two later, but still I questioned myself because it was a big deal, and that made it even more awkward that I should have just been like, whatever, go with it. But my brain can't do that. But I wonder, what is the appropriate response that makes someone feel your situation's unique, because I'm more like Red Star in the sense that I'm not like looking so far into the future. I'm always like day by day, like, this is where I'm at. I try to be like present, but 95P is like picture like has everything planned out, and I have to be like, whoa, day by day.
But I think it's good that like one's one way and one's the other. You know what I mean? It's like a good balance.
We're just like we come to meet in the middle once we talk about it, but the way our brains work, it's very different. So it's like, it's kind of like we're kind of similar in y'all's relationship. Like we're the opposite.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So what kind of stuff scares you, Becca? So like plans, like future plans?
I hate plans. Plans scare me. All
like if
kinds of
95P
plans.
said something right now about where to spend Christmas, would that scare you because it's so far in the future? It's 5-6 months away.
Well, Christmas, I'm pretty like certain that I would like to spend Christmas with my family as long as I'm single in the sense of not married and have my own family. So, that one doesn't really scare me because I've kind of made that clear.
Or what if it was like, hey, Becca, next summer, this is all going to be over. I wanna book a trip to Hawaii now because the deals are better. August the 21, we're going to Hawaii. Would that scare you?
Yeah, I hate that. Why? What's the point?
People are making plans for 2021 right now because you can't make plans for 2020.
That's great. I'd be like, cool, book the flights, but there's a chance that might not work for me. So, but yeah, I just don't like that. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I've always been that way. Maybe that's something I can talk to my therapist about, which is really, that's just been so great for me. I always would say like communication is key, but I'm the worst communicator ever. So it was all just words and what I was thought I needed to say. But I'm really learning, especially in my relationship too, of I just want to have space and be like, I need to think about this before we talk about it, because I don't want to say something that I regret. But 95P is very much like, we're not stopping this conversation until we figure things out, or at least come to an understanding.
Common ground.
Okay.
All right, this one's from Anonymous. I've been dating my boyfriend for almost a year and a half. Every box I had on my mental list is checked. There's just one thing. I'm not sure if I just love him or if I'm in love with him. I'm very content in the relationship, but I've never felt fireworks. Do you need that can't stop thinking about them feeling to know you're in love? Does being content mean the relationship is boring or that you're in a normal, healthy relationship? I can normally trust my gut, but with this, my gut's all over the place. I don't like the thought of breaking up because I feel like I got a good one. For background, we're 23, and this is my first serious long-term relationship. Dated other guys before him, but nothing too serious. We're young, so not looking to get wifed up yet, obviously, but just looking for an outsider's view. I like that. The difference between I love him, am I in love with him?
I kind of had that with Robert, but I also especially kind of like before we started dating and when we first started dating, there was like that excitement and the fireworks, but it wasn't like my current relationship. And I always thought that was just like I thought my personality was always going to be in a relationship that was just like, I'm content, I'm happy, like he's wonderful.
Right,
so
fireworks are for the movies.
Yeah. I always thought like comparing my relationship to what the movies said I was supposed to feel was like not realistic. But having experienced it now, I realized that it's not like the whole relationship is always that way. Like it's not like this like explosion of fireworks forever for the rest of your relationship. But there is something that's so special about having those feelings, and like they continue. It's just in a different way, because you grow as people and like you grow together. But I don't know. I hate giving advice on this stuff because it's such a personal experience. And some people, I've seen these conversations in the group where some people are like, it's so important to have someone who's consistent and has that, like, you feel that contentment. Because contentment, especially right now, is a hard feeling to find. But sometimes you just have to know there is more. So it's more like, could that be a great relationship forever? Sure. But also you're 23. Like, there's so many people you haven't met and experiences you haven't had yet. So I don't know. I hate these questions because it's like, if he's a good, I don't know.
But it sounds like you're leaning towards he's not the one.
Well, I just think like why here's the thing. You're 23. There's so many people that you have the opportunity to meet, and it's going to be scary. And it might be that you date other people and you're like, no, he was the one that I want. And y'all end up together. But it's hard to just say, like, stay in it with just kind of being totally level all the time. Yeah. Because I've been there. So I got the package and looked in the corner and it said Taylor Nation, and I was like, no way. Because I saw them all and, I was seeing everyone get them.
But who else got them? Why am I blanking now?
I saw Kelsey.
Sarah Hyland.
Hayley got one.
Adam Lambert. Jonathan Van Ness.
Kobe Bryant's daughter,
Ness.
Natalia, got like the one from the video.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant's daughter.
Who?
Kobe Bryant's daughter.
Oh, yeah. So, I opened it and literally freaked out. I was like, how? I did get the Lover merch last year, so I don't know if, last album, but I was not expecting this. I did something very important this week.
What?
I did laser hair removal.
Oh.
So I've been avoiding it because the waxing experience with you ruined me. And I trust no one who says anything. Like, if someone says, oh, that doesn't really hurt, I don't believe them anymore because that's what you told me. And it felt like I think I saw stars, not in a good way.
So dramatic.
I'm not kidding. I didn't think I was going to be able to get through the whole appointment. She did the first rip, which was supposed to be the easiest part, and I blacked out. And then my pride kept me there. And so then I was going to get regular laser, and then Hayley said it did not feel great either. Said it hurt.
Literally, laser hair removal is easier than going to the dentist.
I hate the dentist, so that's a horrible comparison. Yeah. Especially for a listen to Taylor Swift's new album, just a drive in the car feels like a treat for me right now.
Oh my God. I know you guys are so into it.
No, how is your cardigan?
What do you have? Perfect? What?
Becca, should we put our cardigan?
I can't believe I didn't wear mine to talk to you because
no, I don't.
Together.
Don't have a cardigan. I wore Becca's.
How did Becca get one and you didn't get one?
Becca has an in with Hayley, who is like BFF. She's like sung on stage with Taylor Swift before.
Oh, right.
So Becca has an in.
So I got the PR packet. No, it's mine.
Oh, you got your
own.
It's
mine. It was addressed to Becca Tilley.
That's right.
But I did get the PR package last year for
I got that too.
So maybe I'm just on the PR.
No, this is what I asked because I had this conversation, but I emailed Tree afterward because she was sneaky and she emailed me like 3 weeks ago.
Can you explain to the millions of people who don't know who Tree is?
Sorry. Well, everyone that's a Swiftie knows who Tree is,
Yeah,
right? Am I
true.
saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so Tree is Taylor's publicist, but like also runs like her life. And a couple weeks ago, she wrote me, she's like, hey, quarantine's like really slow. I'm just updating everything. I don't have your home address. I only have your work address. And I was like, yeah, cool. Well, yeah, we're going to be at home like for the rest of the year. So yeah, this is great. Like I didn't think anything of it. I've never gotten a PR package from Taylor. This was my first one. And then I wrote a thank you after and I said, thanks so much for thinking of me. This is so great. Like, it's so sometimes hard to be in the press and it's nice when people recognize it. She goes, oh, it was just for a few press that have supported her for a long time and friends. And then I only saw 3 press. So I don't know.
I've seen a lot of people wearing that cardigan on my Instagram.
Lots. But no
Becca,
press.
don't diminish us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I saw
like
a chick
Adam
from
Rippon?
BuzzFeed. Yeah, but he was in the video.
Oh, he was? Oh. No.
Has the topic of moving in with 95P been brought up? If 95P wanted you to move in tomorrow or vice versa, would you?
Here's the deal with moving in with each other. I feel this about any relationship I'm in or will ever be in or have been in. I would never want to move in with someone for the convenience of like financial reasons or it just being easier or convenient.
Right.
I would like for everything to be in a place where we are either getting engaged or married before I made the step of like getting a house together or making that step. So that's how I feel about moving in together.
Has the conversation come?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about it. And we both agree, like we both like having our own place. It's nice because it's especially been nice right now because we've gotten to go back and forth to each other's place and have like a change of scenery. So that's been nice. And we both like our place a lot. So I don't know where there would be an easy decision. We'd probably have to move into a totally separate place. Yeah. And I've thought about wanting to buy, and I'm like, I'm not going to buy something with someone that I'm not like, planning on getting married to in the near future because that's a big deal, big commitment. So as for now, we like having our own spots.
Becca, your turn. Oh, is 95P still 95 or is it closer to 100? Or is it dropped to 90?
Okay, so I clarified this after the live show where I said 95P and said, I can't remember, did I say 80 or 85?
Something along
that. So I feel like I already answered this question. It stayed consistent. I mean, we're happy. We're in a great relationship. We haven't killed each other during quarantine. So it stayed how it is when I addressed that, whatever it was, 80, 85. 95 felt like, I was put on the spot. It was a live show.
You were kind of drunk.
I was kind of drunk and it felt like my best answer. And it's not so much like, oh my gosh, I regret saying that. It was just, had I had more time to think about it and really go into the percentages and the numbers I was saying, I would have gone with like 80 or 85. So that's
80, 85, 95. It's all like in the same.
It's all within the same 20%, you know?
Yeah. It's like an A-.
Right. Yeah. Like unless you're at 100, then like it's all just, you know what I mean? Like it's whatever. It's cool. We're casual.
Yeah.
We're casual.
We're not casual, but yeah. We're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Becca, have you met 95P's parents and has 95P met yours? And was it in person? Was it on FaceTime? If so.
I have met 95P's parents, but 95P has not met my parents. And they love me. And I love them.
How could they not?
They're amazing. Yeah.
You know, we should have made these questions more. I'm surprised you haven't sniffed anything yet.
Really?
I really am. Because usually you're reaching for the drink. Oh, she said, when I have something funny to say and I'm waiting for Allison to finish her sentence so I can say it.
Say your punchline? That's not cringy.
That's pretty damn cringy.
She said that drives me effing nuts.
She has brought this up. We've said this in counseling before. That we talked about.
95P does that too. Always waiting to tell a joke. I'm like, just
chill.
Let me listen to my story before you tell yours.
Allison's like pouring her heart out to me about something like very heavy, and I'm just like, rank best to worst kisser. Ben Higgins.
Oh, I love this.
Chris Soules and 95P.
All right, 95P. Chris and Ben are great kissers, I do have to say. Like, I would say I have no complaints either way. So when I say this, it really is just because I have to choose one or the other. So 95P, Ben, and Chris. But to be honest, I had more makeouts with Chris. So maybe I should put Chris in front of Ben because we actually had like more intense makeout sessions than I did with Ben because he sent me home earlier.
Is every kiss and make out
begins with K?
Does every kiss begin with K?
Yeah.
Are they all was everything taped? Like, could I watch every single makeout session you've had with?
Well, you could see, I think, at least parts of everyone. But like some of them, like one night we were like on a rooftop with Chris, and we like that was like pretty much most of our date. But they only showed they didn't show that as like a lot of it. But yeah, they were both great kissers. All three great kissers. great kissers, gotta say.
Lucky you.
I know. And Tanya tries to get this stuff out of me. Like, she wants me to have these things about 95p. And I'm like, we're just,
Right. Like, I'm like, does it turn you on when 95p does this? And Becca's like, yeah, I don't know.
Is it okay if the answer's no?
And is
like,
that
is this
because,
normal?
Is that because we're well into the relationship, or is it because you and Tanya just react differently to different stimuli?
I think probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think in the beginning you were like, oh my gosh, in the beginning you were so like me.
I know. No, Tanya.
You were worse.
I did not have things that I would send you and be like, I'm so turned on by this.
True. That's true. I did not get videos like that from you. However, you were just as bad as I am.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a certain way, but not
Correct.
in the Tanya way that you are.
Correct.
Okay.
Different manners of which, but equally as intense.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old ball and chain. It's been 2.5 years.
That is so wild. 2.5 years.
Wow, has it really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, officially it's been 2 years, but like since we met, it's been since April.
Wow.
2 years was in April.
Isn't that wild?
That is a long time. That was longer than I would have guessed.
Lot of episodes not talking about my relationship.
That's true. Like the first year.
Yeah, because for a long time I didn't even like really address it. I was just like, I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
still
fun.
can't believe though that it's been 2.5 years.
I'm trying to reread the email. Was it just his friends all together and they're at the strip?
She didn't say, but I don't think so. I think there's probably a woman in a state of
bend, a bend,
a
twirl.
I'm just saying she's probably not wearing a lot, and she's probably posing with the guys. That's my guess.
It's probably like a provocative photo.
Probably very so, yes.
Here's what I sometimes with things like this, I always wonder: is there an underlying thing where there's a lack of trust in the relationship, and lack of respect? Because even when I first started dating 95p, we talked about strip clubs, and I said I particularly do not feel comfortable with them, and it was something that we kind of disagreed on, but at the end of the day was respected because it was how I felt.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that was so necessary, and it wasn't like it happened all the time, but it was just a conversation we had. And I think being respectful of each other when it comes to something like that, it would have been nice if he had even asked your opinion on it when he was going originally. Because even if you said, hey, I don't love it, and he reassured you that it was just like a good time with his buddies, whatever. But the fact that he didn't even care to, see where you stood on it. Because it is a controversial topic. Do you know what's so interesting? During this COVID situation just recently with my sister, 95p and I had to quarantine, and I wanted to go to my apartment to get something, and there was an argument because 95p is like, you're exposing yourself to Hink, who may have gotten it from Caroline, and I have a work obligation coming up that I can't I can't move. It's going to be a really big deal. So, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm literally going to my house. I have a podcast to do. I'll go upstairs, lock myself in my room to do the podcast, and then I'll come back. And it was this compromise because I felt like I was being told what to do, which I'm something I need to work through in therapy. And
no, it's so interesting that you say that because my my sister's kind of like my therapist because unofficially, just because that's like, her profession, but she's my sister. But because I talk to her a lot about like, things that are conversations that I have with Red Star where like they're compromise. And she's like, I think this is really good. This is a really good relationship for you because I feel like you're learning how to compromise also while, standing up for yourself and like making sure that your voice is heard, but also, you know what I mean? And he's respecting you and like what you say and meeting you in the middle and like da 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 da. And she's like, for so many years, you've just been doing what you want, when you want, how you want.
It's truly the greatest part of being single.
Single,
Just let me know. Let me say something to all the girls who are trying, like, really want to be in a relationship. There are great parts of it, but let me tell you something. When you're single, you ain't got to worry about compromising with anybody but yourself. So keep that in mind when you're feeling lonely and sad and all you want is a relationship. Just see the positives of the single life as well.
But that what you said before, Becca, about not wanting to be told what to do, I think that's a big one with a lot of people. It's a big one for me. It's a big one for the guy who has the picture from the strip club he doesn't want to delete. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Delete it. But no, he does not want to be told what to do. And that's something we all need to work on.
Okay, so here's my question. If there's something that you want your partner to do, but you don't want to tell them to do it, how do you do that?
This is what I'm working through.
Okay.
So my therapist, I literally brought this up because I thought, is this something that's deeply rooted in something else? And I'm learning a lot of my habits are. And she said, do you do it with certain people? Like, is it 95P or do you do it with everybody if they tell you what to do? And she was like, pay attention to that. So 95P said something after this. And I said, it's the way you said that. That's what triggers this feeling of defensiveness and feeling like you can't tell me what to do. And so I said, it's something about the way you are so direct about something that if you worded it more as, hey, I think we should do it this way. Do you agree on that? And it becomes more of I have a say in it rather than being told. That's what I need.
Oh, interesting.
So it's weird though, because I'm such a rule follower. So if someone says you can't come in here until you need to put on a mask, or you can't come into here, I'm gonna be like, of course I'll put on a mask. But for some reason, with certain situations, the idea of someone telling me what to do and not making that decision for myself triggers me, and I become very defensive.
Interesting.
But is that on 95P to change, or is that on you to change?
I think both. I think we both decided that we can both approach it. Yeah. Because I need to work on not letting it make me defensive to where it starts an argument. And I think 95P needs to work on approaching me in a way that doesn't come across so harsh and direct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, so stay single. I'm just kidding. So the moral of the story of this episode is stay single.
Stay single.
I'm just kidding. There's a lot of good in compromising because it helps you to become a more complete person. Learning that is a very challenging, because we're naturally selfish.
Yeah.
So to have to adapt to someone else's needs is very challenging.
And then show up to dinner and there's a bottle of rosé, and I was like, here we go.
That rosé was so good, but it made me feel like I got home and 95P was like, are you high? I was like, no, I drank rosé. And then Caitlin said that Jason thought she was high too.
Oh, really? And
then, yeah, you were like, I'm ready to party
yeah,
again.
I was like, I want to come back, meet you guys again.
Yeah, no.
We
were, it was fun. My first question is, did you watch Becca on The Bachelor? If so, what did you think about her then?
Props to Angela Hopgood for that question.
This is so funny because we got in a huge... Well, should I let you read the response before I talk about it?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, 95P says, I didn't want her to know I had seen her on the show because I didn't want her to think I was some weirdo. But yes, definitely watched, and all I really remember is that she was extremely charming, likable to all. Everyone on the show and the people watching really loved her, and she was, of course, beautiful.
So we got in...
I remember this, actually.
That was a very nice response. We did get into a fight because 95P denied ever having seen my season.
Oh.
And then I found out that that was a lie. And I just felt like, why lie about that? Because to me, it wasn't like, I mean, it was on I'm one of so many that have been on The Bachelor, and everyone watches The Bachelor. So it was not like there was no reason. So then I started questioning, like, is there anything else being
lying about?
Yeah.
See, I understand that a little bit because maybe, like, I don't know, you want to get to know somebody in your relationship, not like something that you see on television. So I don't know. I feel like it was a way of just being like, it's a clean slate. I want to get to know you for you.
But if I already knew, I don't know. The denial of seeing my season is where I was like, when I knew that other seasons had been watched. Yeah, I was like, it was at the beginning of my relationship.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, okay, what a stupid thing to lie about.
What else is being lied about?
Are you lying about anything else that's dumb?
I could see that correlation, and I would probably do the same.
That was a nice response of redemption for today's answer. My next question is from Chelsea Simon, and it says, what do you think of 95 as the percentage Becca gave? Do you agree, and do you like that it has become your nickname for the show?
Oh, wait. I am so excited about this answer.
And here is
it a good answer, Mark? Is it a good answer?
Yeah, no. These answers are all very good.
Okay.
In fact, we talked about one was too good, and we're not going to read it. This one is, to be honest, I was a bit shocked, but extremely relieved to know that we are on the same page. I appreciate the number 95. I think it's pretty accurate. And yes, I'm very pleased with my nickname, Ha.
Yeah, I mean, I've discussed this on the podcast. We've had the conversation together. The 95 was on the spot. It was the response, but I do love that it is the nickname on the show. It's hilarious to me. That's my personal answer to the question.
The nickname is so good. Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
Glad to know we're on the same
I know.
page.
That's not surprising at all, honestly.
How does that make you feel?
Literally not shocked at all. Like, feel pretty confident about where 95P stands. I just wanted to
I'm
hear.
surprised it's not 100p.
I'm sure it is, but I'm a little skittish. So.
Wow, 95 is skittish.
Well, I'm saying 100 would make me skittish.
Yeah, and you're still at the 95, and that is defined as skittish.
I feel like I established that I'm more at like 85. I think is where I settled.
Yeah, I feel like Becca,
you
did. You took it back after.
I'm good at taking things back. It's okay, but that was crazy because you all cannot understand the pressure of answering that on the spot, knowing that the fight that could be caused based on this number. And on the spot, I went with the higher option to save myself. And then I found out that 85 would have been an acceptable answer too. So
I do have to say, but I give you a little bit of credit because when we did the podcast in Palm Springs and Red Star was literally just like sitting right there on the couch next to us. And I'm getting questions like, is he the one? I was like, oh,
yeah, it's different when they're staring into your soul.
It is different because it's like they could always listen, which is whatever. Then whatever,
yeah,
but it's
like,
different when you actually see them listening.
Yeah. My next one is from Stephanie Howell, and the question is there anything you don't know about Becca that you haven't asked but you want to know? This is interesting. I'm interested to hear the answer to this.
Well, the answer is I'm pretty forward with everything, which forces Becca to communicate with me, LOL. So I feel like if there was something bothering me, I wouldn't hesitate.
It's true. I was gonna be surprised if there was anything that we don't know about each other already.
Really?
Yes.
Nothing. Not one thing.
You could not even understand how uncomfortable I've been the past 2 years of being forced to communicate my feelings in this relationship. It's so uncomfortable for me, but it's been so good. Like, I was thinking, I think I shared this with you. I look back on my relationship with Robert, and it's so interesting, the difference. And I think the significant difference is the challenge of me being forced to communicate my feelings, which I never really had because, Robert didn't want to encroach on me or like scare me. So he just let me be. And in this relationship, it's like, no, we're figuring it out right now, which is great, but also just not my natural way of handling things.
See, that's how I am. Like if I have a thought.
Oh, I know. I know.
I communicated almost too much. I'm like, wow, the amount of communication being had over here.
No, but that's the thing is that I'm a under communicator and 95P is like an over communicator.
Yeah.
So this one's from Shelby Johnson. And the question is, how did you feel when Becca took back her I love you after she first said it? I can imagine that didn't feel great, but I came back within like a week and said it. So I am curious to hear the response.
Well, the response starts with a big laugh. Ha, 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 ha.
Oh, that's good. That eases things.
Yeah.
I was very confused, to be honest, at first, but then I understood because she wanted to say it on her own terms instead of echoing me. Then I think she said it like a week after or something, so we weren't too far off. Ha ha.
It's true. I said it and then panicked because I was like, oh my gosh, I've never said that before. And it was so soon into our relationship that I felt like there's no way I should be saying this so soon. Panicked. And then I think it literally was like a week or week and a half later.
That would be the worst week ever for me.
No, because yeah, but I was very open about like I've never said this before, and
oh, that's right.
I think my feelings are there, but I want to make sure that I'm saying it at my own time and not just because I feel pressure because you said it. So I think it was understood where I was coming from, and it wasn't so much like I don't see myself getting there anytime soon. It was just kind of like I need to do this on my own terms without the pressure of saying it back. So last week we answered some questions, or our significant others, Red Star and 95P, answered questions that y'all had for them, kind of just getting to know them a little bit more. And we answered a few, and then we're going to answer some more today.
Do you feel like you know them better?
What do you mean?
Not you. I know you know, but like Mark Easton, do you feel like you know them better?
Oh. I think this has actually been pretty darn insightful. I think this is great. I think we're also getting a feel a little bit for the personalities.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was shocked by anything last week. Were you? The winky face?
The winky face threw me.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny though that 95P answers a lot with ha-has. I'm not getting many ha-has from
You're
Red
getting
Star.
LOLs.
Oh, I see.
They
giving
they
LOLs?
just do
different ways.
95P does ha-ha.
Okay.
And then Red Star's an LOL person.
Okay.
Well, first up, we have Julia Rose O'Hara. And this is funny. What's the stupidest fight the two of you have had?
Why don't you answer that first and see if there's a match?
We have so many stupid fights that I don't even know where to begin. I would say, like, in my opinion, 80% of our fights are stupid. So I'm always like, why are we fighting about this? This is so dumb because, when it's my personality, if it's not a big deal to me, then it's not a big deal, which is not correct because there's two people in a relationship. So if it's a big deal to the other person, you have to respect that. But in my head, I'm like, this is so dumb. Like every time we're arguing, I'm like, this is so dumb.
Well, pick one because I think you may match if you pick it.
I know which one was chosen, and it has to be the dumbest, biggest fight we've gotten into was over Mario Kart.
All right.
Because I did not say congratulations when 95P won. Because I always win. And I never get congratulated. So I didn't know that I'm too competitive to congratulate my enemies, my competitors.
All right.
So I'm interested to hear.
Here's the response. What is the stupidest fight the two of you had? Too many. Probably the time we played Mario Kart. As you know, Becca is beyond competitive. So if you win, she won't congratulate you at all. So She always beats me in absolutely everything, and I finally beat her in Mario, and she refused to congratulate me. Refused. It was a monumental moment for me, so I got pissed, and she couldn't be happy for me. Ha 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 ha.
The ha-ha-has are so good.
So Tanya looks over when I said, I don't need to congratulate my competitors. And she said, that's not a good thing.
It's not. That's not a great quality or anything to honestly be proud of. That.
Okay. In actual sports or something where there's competition, like when I play tennis, I'll be like, oh, good game if I lose. That's fine, right?
Sure.
But Mario Kart?
Anything. Not being able to congratulate somebody.
Well, I got so mad that it was a fight that I did not
That you lost.
want
it's
to
like
congratulate. No, I wasn't even mad that I lost. I literally didn't even care that I lost.
looks like it.
I mean, to defend you, Becca, I play a lot of Mario Kart. They give you a gigantic animated trophy. I mean, I feel like no external congratulations are required.
Yeah,
in that
like
case.
the game.
I never do it
gives
either.
you the congratulations that you need. It gives you a full ceremony with a huge trophy.
Oh, so
And-
this wasn't one race. This was a full cup.
Oh, it was a full, yeah.
Wow.
It was a full race. And so so we have this other couple that we play with virtually because you can play like over Wi-Fi or whatever on the Switch. And every time the three of them, one of them beats me, they all congratulate each other. Like it's like ganged up on me. And so then when I win, I never get congratulated. No one ever tells me good job. So I'm like, why do I have to overcompensate for y'all's inability to win?
An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. You should rise above them.
Not in Mario Kart. I rise above in other ways, but Mario Kart feels it was a dumb fight.
Mario Kart's where it starts, you know?
No.
All right.
Tanya and 95p are similar, and it's very stressful for me. So the next one is from Reagan Graham, and the question is, do you share Becca's eating habits? What are your thoughts on buttered Pop-Tarts and Dr. Pepper?
What do you think the response will be?
I feel like I'm going to get some blame put on me, but the thing is, we all have the ability to say no. I do know that it's harder to eat healthy if the person you're with eats really poorly, so that probably doesn't help the situation. But I mean, 95p ate a lot healthier before I came.
Oh, really?
Into the picture, yeah.
I mean, if anybody doesn't like a buttered Pop-Tart, I don't. Then they are an alien.
All right, well, here's the response. Do you share Becca's eating habits? What are your thoughts on buttered Pop-Tarts and Dr. Pepper? Absolutely not. But since dating her, she has completely attacked my eating habits. I never had sugary foods or fast food growing up, ever. And she has introduced me to every kind and definitely gotten me hooked on soda, which I'm upset about. I think Pop-Tarts really fall flat for me personally, but butter makes everything better.
Wow, that was a great response.
Pop-Tarts fall
Yeah,
flat.
the soda thing has been a little bit of like a battle, but I've kind of cut back. So I feel like, we have a good balance now.
Pop-Tarts, when it was
Fall
the line again?
flat.
Fall flat.
But butter makes everything better, it's true. Yeah, I definitely am not. I'm not a good influence for anyone who wants. I mean, I even remember Robert eats so clean, and
That's true.
He would be like, "Are you kidding me? Like, can we just eat something? Like, go somewhere that has something decent that I can eat?" Yeah, that was even worse back then too.
Pop-Tarts fall. Why can't I get over that line? That's so funny. It's
All
kind
right.
of true.
No, it's not.
They are not as good unless there's butter on them.
I mean, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I think they're fantastic.
Lindsay Ann says, how do you feel about Becca keeping your relationship so private? Do you wish she would share more, or do you feel hidden? Yeah. I'm curious to hear this answer because we've had so many conversations about it, and I'm curious to know, like, what the response is right now.
Yeah, it's good.
All right,
too.
here is the response. Definitely in the beginning, I've always wanted to have a relationship I could share, mainly because I spent so much of my personal time having private relationships, so I was ready for something new. But I am very content with the life we have, and I love it because it's ours. Whenever she wants to share more, I'll be down for that too.
Oh, that was sweet.
It is really sweet.
Yeah, at the beginning, it was like, oh, it was a lot of conversations about it. But I totally I understand both of our, like, I understand 95P and that perspective, and I also appreciate the respect of how I'm doing it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Meg Lynn says, when did you know that you were in love with Becca? I bet the answer is, I feel like, okay, I want to hear the response.
All right.
And then we can discuss after.
I knew from the moment I met her.
Oh my
Such a lie.
God. I can't.
There's
so
more.
wasted.
There's more. I knew from the moment I met her, but it really solidified on our first date, like 2 days after meeting. We talked for like 4 hours, and I didn't want the night to end. It was amazing.
That is so
Okay,
cute.
first of all, we were both so drunk when we met, so I knew the first night. No.
That is not.
We both kissed other people that night, so. Yeah. Yeah, drunkenly.
You dog.
But that's really nice. But our first date was not actually a date, actually. We just went to have a drink, like as friends, I guess. We had just met.
Right, but you weren't. It wasn't even a date. Like you were gonna hang out in a group, and then everybody in your group just
everyone
kind of bailed.
So I was like,
you're
all right,
okay, yeah.
we'll go. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. We had like a huge group thing, and then everyone bailed, and I thought, well, I don't want to bail, and so we went and got drinks, and it was true. We did talk for 4 hours, and I left being like, that was different. And I felt something too. I don't know if we talk about it now because we're in love and we're like, we were in love then, but realistically, that's really sweet.
You know what? I talked to you after that night, and there was something different. So whether you use the term different or love,
okay,
tomato.
Yeah, it was quick though. I mean, we said I love you within 2 weeks of knowing each other. But you bring up a good point because I noticed one time in the scrubbing in group, someone was like, why won't Becca share? Like, are we that scary or something? And it literally has nothing to do with the scrub. Like, the scrubbing in group makes me want to be more open because the support that they show constantly.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do. It's like literally, it's a totally different situation. It has nothing to do with me thinking that they're gonna harm my relationship or say mean things. Like, I feel more support from them than I do really anywhere else. You know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, last question, Becca, from Rachel Messick.
What is it like to date Tanya Rad's BFF? Does it ever feel overwhelming or invasive?
I'm scared of this one.
I literally have no idea what this answer could be. Like, is it funny?
I'm just going to read it.
Oh.
I've always felt so much support from Tanya regarding our relationship, so I love it. She was so happy for Becca and I when we met, and she has been our cheerleader from the start. I'm so happy Becca has such a supportive friend like Tanya, smiley face.
Oh,
it's because we are so alike. So it's almost like
you relate.
I relate, not only relate, but I also I think that in the beginning when everything was like new, and I saw you in such a different way than I'd seen you before, it was so exciting for me.
Yeah, I think it was more exciting for you than it was for me.
It was like every day I would come in and with my eyes wide open and be like, do you still feel the same way? Do you still feel the same way? And like
still ask me that.
Still till this day, and I probably still will till we're like 90 years old. Oh, scared her there, but I just think it's so beautiful to see, because I really kind of got on that wavelength of Becca when she was just like, maybe I just can't feel the same way that you feel, or like maybe I'll never feel that way for somebody, like I'm just not capable. And then all that changed when 95P came in your life. So it's been fun to see and special.
That was a cute answer. Great answer.
All right, and one more for Tanya, and this is when we could tease again if you want.
And Hayley posted something recently about like the process of getting on your medicine and getting off medicine when you're going through depression or whatever. And it's so interesting because, you know, I'm always like, well, just, you know, see the positive. Like, why are you focused on the negative? And I've realized it through therapy and talking about it, that like, that's not an option for some people. Like, whereas I'm like, well, things could be worse. Like, see the silver lining. Some people are like, I'm not even, there's no silver lining.
Yeah.
It's black.
No, we just had it.
Oh.
But it wasn't on the day. Those are just random flowers.
So thinking of you.
Hope these brighten your day. I was like,
I remember those days, just flowers galore. Yeah, we're doing well as well. There have been challenges in we communicate so differently, and that's been something that we've worked through, you know, since we started dating. So that's been something, but we always come out of it understanding each other more, which I think has been really good for me to have that challenge. In the moment, I want to be like, get me out of here, transport me anywhere but here, but because I hate having conversations and communicating and not seeing eye to eye on everything. But we're good. We're in a good spot. I feel like we've gotten, you know, through the thick of the quarantine days, and you know, work is starting up again, and a little more outside of the home experiences, which is great, even though we don't live together, but we see each other a lot.
do you think you're gonna move in together at some point soon?
I don't know. Part of me is so hesitant about moving in together because I've always said I didn't want to I'm kind of in the process of maybe wanting to buy a house, and I'm not going to buy a house with someone unless I'm married or like planning to marry them or in that.
Right.
And so we're not there. And so if I'm going to buy a house, I don't know. I like having our separate place. We see each other pretty much every single day. So it doesn't feel like there's that thing missing, and we'd probably live well together. But I don't want to move in just to save money or, you know, just for the reason that.
Well, no, I mean, but you move in, it's like the next step.
Yeah, but it's like giving up my space, my independence. And I feel like when you move in together, there's this sense of like, what's the point of getting married?
Oh, you think? Oh, so you don't want to give the cow the milk for free?
Yeah, I couldn't think of that. Wow, that was the first phrase I think you've ever gotten right the first time.
Thank you so much. I still don't think I got it right. But
No, you don't give cows milk.
Oh, you don't want to give
the cow's milk for free.
Yeah, the cow's milk for free.
The cows.
No, the cow doesn't want to give you the milk.
Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
Milk for
Oh,
free.
shoot. Oh, you almost got it.
Yeah, it was
right.
close.
You're close.
Very, very adjacent.
Yeah, but like I said, I think everyone has different opinion. And my opinion changes often on this. So.
Oh, but that's an interesting that's a different pivot right there.
Why?
Because it's not like I like my independence. It's like you're not going to buy my milk if I'm giving you the cow for free.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that, what's the word I'm looking for? Like headstrong in that mentality as much as I am just like.
Not there yet.
Yeah, but I am looking to want to buy a house, and it's really defeating in the Los Angeles area.
If my AC isn't fixed today, I might come spend the night at your place tonight.
Great.
Oh.
You and Heat can sleep together.
Do you like how I didn't even ask? I was just like, so expect me to.
I'm fine if you want to come stay. To be honest, I wish I had. It's complicated because I have my place is technically too big for me because I live alone. I'm like, you know, I signed the lease on my own. My sister
a
lives
singleton,
with me.
some may say.
He is over, you know, almost. We alternate where we are. But my youngest sister, Hink, is living with me. But my third bedroom used to be like an office, which, let's be real, I didn't really use it as an office. And now I've made it into my workout room. It's interesting because, like, that first year and a half where you're just like want to be on top of each other 24/7, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone feels that, right?
I think so.
Like in a relationship, everyone feels that initial, what's it called? Like honeymoon phase.
Spark.
Yeah, where you're just like
Magnets.
yes.
Like a moth to a flame.
Uh-huh.
Burned by the fire.
Yeah, and the goal is to keep that, you know?
How does one do that? Miss
By-
2.5 years over here.
By being a prowess.
A prowess.
A woman on the prowl.
A woman on the prowl. Yeah.
Just, you know, you just have to like be thoughtful and consistent in making effort.
What did you do this weekend after I saw you?
Oh my God. Well, so 95P and I have been watching this show. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. It's called Alone. Have I talked about this?
Sounds dark.
It's like reality TV, but it's these people who are trained survivalists, and they put them all separately. Like they never see each other. They put all these people literally alone in the wilderness in like the Arctic. So it's freezing. They have to hunt. They have to fish. They have to build shelter. It's just fascinating to see what people are able to do in a situation where they're just
fight or flight.
To stay alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, and they have and so it's just them. They give them a camera and they just set up the camera. They talk to the camera, but it's edited so well.
Do you know what I would do? I would literally just sit there and like pray. I would just pray.
She'd be like, God, please send me food.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, can you go fish? And maybe there's something there for you.
And
You
I'd
have
be
to
like,
try.
no, please, God help me.
But no, there's like bears and wolves. It's so intense. Anyways, you can call in and you can tap out at any point, but whoever lasts the longest gets $500,000. And a lot of these people live this lifestyle even in their regular life. So these people are like amazing. So we've been watching different seasons. There's one season on Netflix if y'all are interested, so you can get started. And then we buy the other seasons because we're so into it.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I know we're really nerdy.
You guys should
Talk
watch
about the
Schitt's
passionate
Creek.
phase in a relationship. Here we are. I remember that weird in between time of having to carry my toiletry bag back and forth. It was like finally, and I don't even know if I was actually asked to bring stuff. I just brought it and left it. I was like, I didn't think too much about it.
I know. Then that's my problem. I think way too much.
Also, my vacation gave me a pep in my step. I didn't realize how much I just needed to be outside of LA.
Honestly, your vacation gave me a pep in my step because I'm like watching your videos, seeing your photos as I'm like literally organizing my jewelry drawer for the 5th time during quarantine. Okay. So I was like,
Well, so every year, Laura, my best friend from high school, and she lives in Louisiana, we go on a birthday trip for both of our birthdays. So hers is at the beginning of September and then mine's at the end of October. And so normally around beginning of September we go, but I wasn't sure about traveling on a plane or whatever. And so we didn't plan anything. And then I was just feeling really antsy. I was like, it's never cooling down in LA again, I think. Like, I think it's just going to be
I'm in a
hot.
tube top. It's October. Like, what is happening?
I have a jacket thing on and I'm forcing it because it's still hot outside. And I just needed a break, I think. I just needed to feel something normal. And so we planned a trip up to New England, and it was me, Hayley, and Laura. And we all got tested before. We wore masks and shields on the plane. It was like probably the cleanest I've ever felt on an airplane. Like I would say if you have to go somewhere now, because airplanes will never be this clean. And it was just magical. Like taking in fresh fall air was like a boost of serotonin.
Tell me what it's like.
So then from New England, we went to visit my sister in Louisiana. So it was just like a very different change of scenery, you know, I got to see my nephews and my sister, my brother-in-law, and it was just so much fun. It's just fun, you know. It's so funny being in like back with your family because you were like revert to your old ways as a kid. Like I was eating like my nephews eat. I was eating like...
Wait, so did you all stay together? Did you stay at your sister's?
We all stayed at my sister's, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a big, fun house, just like lots of good games of Uno. We stayed at the house, mostly played backyard football. It was fun. And something about you like waiting for these rollerblades to come in for weeks, and then you get them.
The
and go
best
down
part
the
is,
hill?
I actually should get this video. The best part is, I went to go buy. I had wrist guards, and he videotaped me because he goes, "You should get knee pads and elbow pads." And I was like, "I used to blade as a kid. Like, I don't need that stuff, you know." Like, pfft. And he goes, "I'm gonna get this on video so that you can't get mad at me for not wearing your stuff." And I was like, "Of course."
I'm just shocked. I mean, Hayley was shocked that you did not have a helmet on. She was like, does she know how dangerous it is to rollerblade without a helmet? And then you said that when I told her you fell, she was like, and imagine if she had hit her head. I was like, listen, I think she's learned her lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Her elbow's broken.
Let me tell you, when I go back out, because I will go back out. I will go back out because when I fall,
I
dust myself off and I get back up, but I will be back up with knee pads and elbow pads and a helmet.
In Flatland. All right, this is a very exciting topic actually for the both of us. So I made a vision board at the beginning of the year, which, it was my first. Did I ever make one with you?
Yes.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. It was my second vision board, and I am still like, I would need to find that first one because I would like to see what's happened.
I don't know if you actually, I know we did it together. I definitely made one. I don't know if you, actually did it.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
So I made my first vision board by myself at the beginning of 2020. Little did I know what was coming, but still. When we were, I made one with Hayley, and when we were doing the vision boards, we just were, cutting out magazines, and one of them was a travel magazine, and there was this cabin in the woods, and I was like, oh my God, that place looks amazing. I'd love to stay somewhere like that. And I had no idea where it was located or anything. So the other day, Hayley and I had just finished working out, and she brings over my vision board and she goes, look at this house that's on your vision board. And so I looked at it and I was like, that's the house that we just stayed in Vermont. So I had no idea. I've always wanted to go to Vermont in the fall. It's been my dream because of the leaves and it just looks magical. And this year I was so ready to get out of the LA heat and go get some fall crisp air. And we found this amazing cabin. And the whole time we were like, how was that available for us? Because it was basically booked out for the rest of the year. And it just happened. It was the busiest weekend in Vermont or in Stowe that weekend. And we were so excited that we got that place was open for the time that we were going to be there. It was the exact same cabin that I put on my vision board.
It's not even that it was, it looked
Similar.
kind of like it or it was the exact cabin you stayed in, which is quite insane.
And I had no idea.
I know, and your vision board isn't like my vision board is up in my kitchen. I see it every single day. Yours isn't just out for display. You made it and you put it away and you don't look at it often. Right. So it wasn't just an image that you had when you were Googling where to stay or whatever.
Exactly. So when I didn't even find it. Laura found it. And so when I literally I felt like I was levitating. I was like, what else can I manifest for my life?
Isn't that wild? That's why I make them all the time, because it's there's just something so when it happens, it's this weird feeling where you're like, oh,
I know,
my gosh.
It made me realize the significance of putting things out there and writing them down and creating these things where you're saying, I want this for my life.
But there's something else there. There's an ulterior motive there. He's either testing you.
Yep, I totally agree.
Okay, let me tell you
confident.
something. 95P wanted to reach out to an ex, and I said, go for it. There was no ulterior motive. It was just that's fine. If you feel like you need to reach out because of the way things ended, whatever, it's fine.
That's a good way to be, and you're good for doing that. But you're also a woman.
What is the day? Text your ex day. I think it's actually on October 30th, which is my birthday.
Yeah, text your ex day.
Which is Friday. But we're going to go ahead and extend it to Monday, and we're both going to be texting our exes.
Do you know which ex you're going to text?
I really only have one.
Oh, so it's got to be the one. Shoot, well, no list over there.
I mean, I could do. I mean, unless I went with like Chris Soules or something. But like as far
That's
as
an option.
relationships,
He's next.
Yeah, but
Tanya, who will you be texting?
48 hours.
I don't know. You know, it's interesting. I honestly, like, when they brought it up, I was like, yeah, sure, sounds fun. And then today in our morning show meeting, everybody was like, yeah, that's lame. We don't want to text our exes. And I was like, shoot.
Well,
Like, it's true.
yeah, that's true.
So now I'm like, well, what if some of them are married? Like, maybe I don't want to go down that path. So I have
Well,
to
that's
kind
a
of,
good point. You
I
don't
have to
want to.
peruse.
Well, this
Disrupt.
literally takes us back to our conversation last week about texting our ex that y'all were so against me about.
Maybe we scrap it.
It's a national holiday. Come on, you know. Where's your text your ex spirit?
If you decide to do it, will you run it by your current partners?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be respectful at least and say we're doing it's a holiday. Do you mind?
Don't forget the
Just,
reason for the
you know.
season.
Yeah.
The reason for the season. I don't know. Maybe we scrap it.
We'll just see how.
I just need to see if some of mine are entwined.
Yeah. Well, try if you can find one that's not entwined.
Yeah. The one I was thinking of, I have no idea.
Who?
I gotta tell you.
Is this like a ex that you went on a few dates with? Or?
This is an ex from like past, like my first kiss.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we've had that guy on the radio show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's married or not. Feels not nice if he is.
Right.
Yeah. 'Tis the reason for the season.
Right. But then I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Are we being contradictory? Because literally last week we were like, it's so bad to text your exes. Like, don't even go down that. I mean,
Hold
granted.
on. No, what we said was you shouldn't text your ex, hey, how you doing? You okay? I hear you're having a baby. Like, that's bad. That all struck me as bad.
True,
Texting your ex to say, hey, it's text your ex day. How's it going? If you guys don't want to do it, I'm totally fine with it. I'm just saying it's different.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I mean, you know my views on this, so this feels innocent enough in a respectful way.
Correct.
To all involved.
Correct.
Friday, which was October 30th, was not only my birthday, it was National Text Your Ex Day. And we teased this last week if we were going to do it. I got permission. I got the go ahead from 95P that it was fine. So I was going to text Robert because he's really my only ex.
Okay, it's funny that you went that way because I got so much heat on my end. I got so many DMs from Scrubbers saying this is exactly the opposite of what you said you should ever do. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, why? Like, I was going to text my ex from high school, which is, his name's Ryan Compton. Shout out if you listen. He probably doesn't, but yeah, shout out. Whoop, whoop. But it's true. It's like, that's so my past. And like, I don't need to go down that path. Like, I love him. I'm sure he's great. And I think he is married. I'm pretty sure he has kids. So I wish him well, but don't care to text my ex.
Well, I think it's just like I'll do it right now. My text is basically like Friday was Text Your Ex Day, so I wanted to say hey and acknowledge the holiday. But also I did get I was respectful to 95P, and also Robert is single as far as I know right now. So if I knew that he was in a relationship, I'd probably hold off because I wouldn't want to disrespect, who he is with.
Right. Okay, you want to lob it out?
Yeah.
All right.
But since it's not Text Your Ex Day, what is the premise?
Oh,
No, I was going to say Friday was Text Your Ex.
Then why didn't you do it on Friday is what Mark's saying. Like, we need some sort of... We're recording. So you can say, friends, we're recording the podcast right now.
But wait, I also think you should ask him something.
Such as? Like, how
well,
are
only
you?
because if you just say, and I know this is the
Should I
producer
say what
in
was
me.
the most annoying thing about me while we were
yes,
together?
Something
Okay.
like that. That
Okay,
would
so
be
I'm going to
great.
say, while I was busy celebrating my birthday on Friday, there was actually another holiday happening.
Did you hear from him on your birthday?
Yes, he said, happy birthday, Bex.
That's very sweet.
I hope you have the best day ever. That's what he said. He responded.
I
Oh,
knew
wow,
it.
that was really fast.
He's a responder. He's a responder.
He's so full of it too. He goes, I can't think of a single thing. You're an angel. And I said, you're a liar. Answer the question. I knew he would say something that wouldn't.
I love that though.
That's
The right answer, though. You got to give him
Yeah.
credit for that. That is, if that happened to me with an ex of mine, I would say not a thing. Because why would you? You don't want to stir anything up.
I was so annoying. I mean, I was like,
Well, what do you think was the most annoying thing about you?
where do I begin? Probably just not my non-committal ways.
Non-committal ways.
In the sense of he was my first relationship and I had been so independent before that I always just did my own thing and didn't, I didn't have to answer to anybody. I didn't have to talk on the phone if I didn't want to, whatever. And so I think he dealt with a lot of my immaturity in a first relationship.
So he would say, hey, dinner Saturday night, and you'd be like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
What else did you do this weekend?
So we watched, Hayley and I binged the Queen's Gambit.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch that.
I think I have a really short attention span or something, because if it's weekly episodes, you remember how Little Fires Everywhere did it? They released 2 or 1 at a time, whatever they did. I was so invested in that series. But I think when it's bingeable, I can't watch too many episodes because I kind of just lose.
Tune out?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Haley
My mom
was it was one of the best shows I've watched in a long time, and everyone seems to love it.
My mom was obsessed. She told my mom, you need to watch it.
Yeah. The actress is amazing. I think she'll win a lot of awards, but
Who is it?
I have no idea. Anyone know? I was gonna go to Florida to see my parents, but with the numbers rising with COVID and stuff, I'm gonna stay put in LA. Might do something with 95P. Might do something with my sisters the next day. Little family giving. So we'll see. I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
No, it's
It
freezing
gets
at night.
crispy at night.
I agree. I decorated my Christmas tree this weekend. It's always so fun once it's done, but honestly, the decorating is honestly a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
The wrapping, the lights around and the ribbon, and then hanging the ornaments to where they're, separated enough. It's really it's what's the word? Intricate process.
It's an intricate process, but you can make it cute and fun when you put on some Meghan Trainor Christmas music and have some vino, perhaps a spiked apple cider or two.
Maybe that's what I was missing.
Yeah, that's what you're missing.
I was in just business mode. I was gotta get it up. I had NSYNC playing, NSYNC Holiday, which is classic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did that. And then we also went and got a tree and decorated Haley's tree last night. So me, Hink, and Hayley were just basically professional tree decorators.
All weekend
All
long.
weekend. That was my weekend.
Wow.
The whole point of me bringing up folklore was that my friend said, hey, have you watched the folklore studio sessions? And I was like, yeah, I watched it. And she was like, I told my girlfriend I'd watch it with her. And, we lived together. And I was like, why don't you just watch it and then put on a performance of a lifetime when you watch it with her as if you've never seen it before?
That's messed up.
And she was like, she'll know. She was like, she'll know. I can't get away with it. It's part of living together.
Yeah, that's messed up.
But 95P, does not care about any of the things that I watch. So I never have to worry about that.
It's interesting because we don't really care either. Red Star and I don't have the same, he likes sports and.
Yeah, but didn't y'all watch Schitt's Creek together?
Yes. So we had, that was our show, but that was that was our show. So we only would watch that together.
That's what I'm saying though.
But the thing is with The Undoing is it's literally on everybody's Instagram. My laundry's done. I was watching Daily Pop's Instagram story today, and they were talking about it. And I was like, I had to like fly past it because I don't want the spoilers.
Right.
Because,
I've never seen it. I've never seen a minute of it, but I know who done it from social media.
Don't tell me.
But back to the topic of I would never watch one of our shows without my wife. I would never do that. And also, we also kind of claim movies. Like there'll be a movie, and if I know she wants to see it, it is off limits. And there's been a number of movies I've been on a plane. I've been like, oh, I want to watch that movie. Oh, I can't. That's an Amers movie. Even though it's been out for 3 years now and we have not gotten around to it, I still can't because it's still on the list.
Oh, y'all are much better people than me. I'm just like, is it really that big of a deal if I just act like it's amazing when I watch it again?
Well, that's dishonest.
Yeah, I don't think
it's not dishonest if it's not talked about, if it's not asked.
That's dishonest. If you said to her, I watched this, but I'm happy to watch it with you again, that's honest. But going wow, this is great. Like you've never seen it before?
This is brand new information.
Okay, but if I said that, no. If I said this is brand new information, that would be dishonest. If I was just like, this show is amazing, or this movie is amazing, that is not dishonest. That's just me stating... No.
Yeah.
Please, Scrubbers weigh in. I might lose this
I'm
one.
kind of with Mark on this
I
one.
know. I feel like I might lose on this one. But this is more just like my personality type versus others. Of just, like being impatient.
Yeah.
But like still willing to sit there and watch it again as if it's the first time. So you could call me selfless.
Selfless, she says.
Another part of Grey's Anatomy that I thought was really interesting was the Link and Amelia dialogue of how they're handling the stress in the situation. Because I am the type who, so in my relationship, I'm the one who's like, well, I feel like in our relationship, you're the one who sees the bright side. But in my personal relationship, my romantic relationship, I'm the one who's like, well,
thank you for distinguishing.
You're welcome. I'm the one who always sees the silver lining. And
95P
gets so frustrated because I'm always like, well, it could be worse. And at least this happened that was good. And then 95P is like, can I just be mad and like frustrated at the situation? And I'm like, okay. But we had to go through a lot of communication about this because I am used to handling things. Like if things get hard, my thought process is like, all right, what's the silver lining here? Like, what am I going to learn out of it? And so I thought that was a really interesting conversation, how people in relationships can be so different and how that can actually be a really complicated dynamic. Yeah.
It can, because I'm in one of those. I'm the bright sider and I'm married to a wallower. And the wallowers...
Wallowers are tough.
But that's just how they're dealing with it, and that's how they want to express themselves, and they're not in the mood to be pulled out of that. Similarly, we brightsiders aren't in the mood to be brought down.
Exactly.
So it's not so much a standoff as you just kind of have to respect the other person's way of dealing with this.
Yeah, but it is hard because the wallower wants the bright side to come down, and
and wallow with them?
Yeah, and the bright sider's like, but I am trying to stay out of the wallowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Alone?
Me too. I get that.
And so that's hard for me to accept because I'm like, we're a team and we're a pair and we're, like that's where I am. I'm like, if you just need me to listen, like I can be here and listen. If you just need me to do, and he's like, I just need nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
literally.
bye.
You are like 95P because I am the same. I'm like,
it's interesting because it's like, it's not wallowing. Like he doesn't.
No. This is a separate type of
it's a separate,
thing because I wouldn't say that I wallow, but I like to process and think about things. And so when I have something going on that's outside of my relationship, but it's something that's like demanding my attention and I have to focus on it, I don't need any help doing that. I want to do it alone. If I want to talk about it, I will talk about it. But I don't want to be forced to talk about it. I don't need to do it with anybody. So I understand his perspective on that. And I think 95P would understand your perspective because that's also on top of the bright side and wallowing differences. We have that difference as well. So yeah, it's one of those. I'm so thrilled that it's cold outside, and I've literally put it on every single morning when I wake up and I'm making breakfast. 95P does not listen to music the same way as I do, whereas I just play songs and albums over and over and over again.
Same.
So we disagree there. There's been some. Can we maybe put something else on, or just nothing? No music. Same. 95P and I almost killed each other at the beginning, but once we got the hang of it,
Yeah, you had to find
great.
your rhythm.
Oof, those few weeks of finding the rhythm, though, that would be a low.